Second day of practice today. No pads. Thought there were some good things going on out there. Kids are highly spirited, running around, and I was pleased with the things that they can have control of. They had a nice job, or did a nice job, I should say, running around. And all in all, I thought it was a good day too. A couple things off the top. I have 3 guys that are going to be going on scholarship. Cam McPherson, Cole Murphy, and Donnie Foster. So that's a good thing. Those guys have all worked extremely hard in the program. They've all done extremely well in school. Cam McPherson, I don't think he's gotten anything but A's since he's been here. So I'm sure his grandfather and grandmother are proud of him. And then one more note real quick, Marquise Blair we got from the NCAA. Marquise came up short, so he'll be heading out to a junior college to be determined at a later date. So all in all, good work today, and any questions you might have.
Is there anything you see, Shafe, when you get them out there on the practice field, even if it's just 2 days and helmets and shorts, that you didn't anticipate or is different than what you thought going into it?
Not so much. I think coming off spring ball, the upperclassmen have taken it to the next level as far as starting fast, and their preparation throughout the course of the summer was good, and you could see that show up both day 1 and day 2, and then you have the freshmen trying to catch up. Good group of freshmen, but it's so hard to tell what they're going to be like till you get them in the pads and you start the contact. But for the most part, about what I was hoping for and what I was expecting. Once again, just looking forward to getting in the pads. Well, at the end of the day, it just came up short with the NCAA. In the kid's defense, he did everything asked of the school. He made the grades. I think they just had some questions with the high school with a couple courses and the way they were handled. Worcester High School in Ohio is a very good school, highly academic school. So for me, it was a little frustrating, but it's outside of my control. The most frustrating thing is, just a young man that put forth a ton of effort and overcame a lot of obstacles and did everything we asked. Unfortunately, the NCAA deemed him, a little short. So, hopefully we'll come on back and get him in a couple years.
It's not the first time you've dealt with
Sure.
this. Is there anything about the system that you think is unfair to kids, or is it just an unfortunate reality that
Oh, I think that the NCAA's done a nice job trying to scrutinize the integrity of all these kids' courses across the country, so I think that's a good thing. I think, sometimes you just have some things that continue to get worked on. A few years ago, it was Darrell Eskridge for us, who came up as one of maybe 29 or 39, I can't remember the number, kids around the country that were deemed ineligible to play but could go to school, which was the first time that happened. So for us, I guess, to some degree, you have to anticipate some adjustments. I felt like with Marquise Blair, the risk and reward was well worth waiting because he's a high-character kid and a lot of ability. We probably had 3 other kids that had a lot of work to do as well that are in camp and have made it. Kids I'm extremely proud of. Dante Strickland, the young man, had a lot of work to do, and he did a great job making it. Davon Ellison had a little bit of work to do. Shai Cullen did an unbelievable job. So, you put it out there and, you take risks that you think are worth it. And with all those kids I just mentioned, the risk was well worth it. And keeping Marquise in our thoughts and prayers as he moves forward to his next stage. And we really look forward to coming after him hard in the next 2 years and getting him back here. So there's a little bit of wait and see going on to figure out what the next step is. But, he's got an unbelievable coach in Doug Haas, a wonderful human being. That has all those kids' best interest, in his heart, and Doug will help him find a good place. And I'm looking forward to moving on to the next chapter and getting him back here eventually.
In the secondary, obviously, our filling the shoes of guys like Eskridge, like you mentioned, like June and all that.
Yeah.
I know it's only, like Matt said, 2 days in, but what do you expect from those guys out there?
Sure. Well, today saw a couple good things. As we're talking about the secondary, Antoine Cordy had a pick six, made a nice play. We had a good battle going on with Wiggum and Hudson. Both those kids were very productive. Hudson had 3 pass breakups yesterday. He had a couple today. Wiggum had a nice interception as well. When I look at the safeties and their development, Rodney Williams did a nice job today. I saw some improvement there. He looks good. He's coming out of his breaks well. But it's probably too early to get too excited one way or the other. Like the way they're working for Coach Reed. Coach Reed's doing a nice job bringing them along. We'll just kind of see how things go day by day, one step at a time. But good group of kids, highly intelligent group of kids back there. Jawan Dowles, he's playing some good football as well. Winfield needing to continue to progress with his technique, but his athleticism is above average. So I think we got a good group. They're going to be a little bit green in the middle, and we're going to have to do a great job coaching those kids, getting them in a position to make plays for Rhode Island. So. Yeah, for me, test week is one I'm always I'm somewhat excited about, and I'm somewhat reluctant going into the season. I think we had 19 guys bench over 400 pounds. We had a couple guys tipping at 500. I thought the kids got after it with the rep test. Ben Lewis, I don't know what it was. He had unbelievable numbers. I think for the kids, it's a confidence factor going into the season, knowing that their numbers are up there where they wanted them to be because they're reaching for those objectives and goals. I think for guys like Brisley Esteem, his opportunity to run really well, both in the 110s and then the 40-yard dash, gives him that sense of stability in his mind as he enters this season, coming off things he doesn't want to think about from last year. So I think probably the biggest thing, Wayne Morgan's another guy. He had a knee that healed up real nice, and he ran just as fast as he did prior to having that little tweak deal. So I think it's a confidence factor more than anything for those kids going into the season.
You mentioned Brisley. I know we only got to see a little bit of practice.
Yeah.
But he looked really comfortable fielding punts.
Yeah.
Was the only thing that held him back last year his health, or were there any consistency issues catching him?
No, at the punt, returning punts, I had no problems putting Brisley back there at all. It was just trying to protect him and say, okay, what reps are going to be most important going into any particular game. And that high ankle he had was just a real struggle for him, and I didn't want to put him in a vulnerable position back there where he's a live target and try to control it. So that was the thought process going from there. Brisley practiced extremely well today, made 2 diving catches, even though I'm not happy about them diving without shoulder pads on. They were 2 impressive catches, and Brisley's back to being that that guy that we're excited about playing, and I know our fans will be excited to see him back on the football field. Jacob Hill's young man out of Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. He's an undersized tailback that has great feet, great vision, and he's an outstanding student. His brother plays safety at Princeton, so I think those genes run in the family. Sharp group, 2 kids. I had a chance to, for the first time, really sit and talk to them when they came in last week, and what a great kid. You guys will like him when you guys get to know him down the road. But just great. He's a great walk-on to have in the program.
So the quarterbacks just working with the centers, take a couple snaps under center. Is that something we could see?
We do that every day. There'll be situations where we can go to that, and but what you're probably referring to is just our takeoff with the quarterbacks, and we'll do some from under center, then we'll get back in the pistol. Anybody else? Sure. Yeah, they were, and when you look back, which I don't like to look back, like I said, but the greatest thing about that 3-9 team is they never separated throughout the season, and there were no cracks in the cups, and there was no finger pointing going on. So I think that they felt good, that they had a real good summer. You know, we were allowed to watch them more with their running and their lifting and their drill work, and I was pleased with them. And I think we got a good spirit going into the season. Now the key will be to stay consistent, you know, week by week. Davon Ellison had a nice interception yesterday on a corner route, and you know, I think the other guys are feeling their way through it, you know, with a limited number of reps. What we're doing this year is we're kind of having a veteran practice and then following that up with a little freshman work at the end. And I really like the process with the freshmen because we get some one-on-one time with them as coaches, and we can slow it down a little bit, gear it down a little bit, and they've been good. It's a good group. Well, to some degree, you know, we'd split fields at times a little bit more last year. This year we're a little bit more condensed. The whole mindset now is fewer reps, but more, you know, more coaching, more technique work, not being in a hurried up type mindset. Gives the coaches the opportunity to coach, you know, those 5 or 6 seconds of the play harder. Kids should be able to go harder because the practices are a little bit different than they were. And then by separating the young guys, it's not just the freshmen after practice, but, you know, kids that maybe are third or fourth on the depth chart. So, you know, we've done it in the past, other places I've been. It's a model that, you know, Bill Walsh used when he was with the 49ers. A 90-minute practice, but it's high, you know, it's high execution, you know, trying to be perfect on every play with the techniques that are, you know, put forth to match the scheme. And so far it's been working out well. I like the look, and I think it'll also give us the opportunity to continue to work real hard in the weight room, so we don't, you know, so we don't lose the weight that was gained in the off season. They condition, they head in, they hit the cold tubs, any treatments they may have while we're working with the freshmen and the third teamers. And then, you know, it's short. It's only about 15 more, 20 more minutes after practice. What it does is it kind of stair steps the locker room too. So not all the guys are fighting to get in that locker room, and, you know, it gives you a little bit of separation. And I'm hopeful that it'll also create a sense of calm for the freshmen so they're not overwhelmed, you know, because what happens so often as a coach, you're focused in on the guys in the two deep, getting them ready to play in the first game. What I've seen happen at the end of practice is our coaches take a deep breath and say, okay, let's go to work with these young guys. And I like the process. I think it's a good one. And, you know, with the number of big guys we have up front, we've had the opportunity to run more inside drill where, you know, you're just really going kind of 9-on-7 or really for us 9-on-9. Not, you know, without the wide receivers, and then we'll do a half skelly as opposed to a full skelly, which is kind of nice for the quarterbacks because now they're just reading, you know, that half field side, and it's a little bit simpler. And then you have the opportunity to play a little team too because of the number of kids we have up front. But so far so good. Not a whole lot, but. We'll see how things go once we get the pads on.
That's the practice setup. I know you mentioned it helps the freshmen come along, but part of it, I presume, is kind of health and giving guys kind of.
It's everything and anything you can imagine. You know, having 8.5 months here, that's the way I look at it, at least, to reflect and take a look at, you know, where we are, what we want to be, how we want to be it. And scrutinizing every rep we had really from the last 6 years, to be quite honest with you. I went back and looked at everything since I've been here, and felt like we have the opportunity to really practice even smarter. Hopefully that's the goal. And yes, one of those spirits is to show up against Rhode Island and be as fresh and fast as we've ever been in an opener. Now that's not to say that we're not working harder, because the way I see it is really the ones aren't getting, you know, they're getting fewer reps, but it's not to the degree that they're missing out. They're getting more quality. So it's a whole quality versus quantity type thing. And then the flip side of it is they can get into the weight room and work even harder because their reps were scaled back a little bit. So those are two things out of about 100. Yeah, exactly. We just, he had the surgery a year ago, and he looks good. He's doing well. Just wanted to be aware, where he was on the field, and just being smart.